Mahatma Gandhi said you judge a country by the way they treat their animals. Remember that. So I'm big on that. So let me get to the Tea Party. My favorite people in Phoenix came to me. They had 250 people sign a petition for me to do something. They came to my office. Sheriff, you're our last hope. Will you investigate the president's birth certificate?
Amen.
So, you know, anybody in their right mind, well, first of all, they'll lie. Well, maybe it's not a big lie. Hey, wait a minute, I'm the sheriff. I'm not a federal guy. How can I investigate this, right? Or they'll promise the Tea Party, then they'll never get back to the Tea Party, and they'll dump that petition in the shredder. So I had to look at this. What do I do? And so I decided to open up an investigation. I used my cold case posse, made up of some ex-cops, and they paid for everything. So I was able to not have to explain using taxpayers' money. So I did it. And I had a big two big press conferences about a year and a half ago. All the media came. I had the evidence on the wall. They didn't even want to look at the evidence. They went after me. Why are you doing this? All this garbage, you know. So it's still going. You know, in law enforcement, sheriff, you know that. If you prove, remember I said prove a crime, wouldn't you like to know who did it?
Yes.
That's the final results. You want to know who did and commit that crime. So we're getting close. I got to be careful. And one thing, sometimes I say, wait a minute, I don't need all this. Just forget it. I won't get any heat because nobody wants to talk about it anyway. But I can't do that. I didn't run for governor. I could have been the governor. I'm not bragging this time again. But if I declared to run for governor 6 months ago, I'd have to leave the sheriff's office the next day. You got to resign if you're going to run for another office, and I just don't think it's time for me to leave this office to some appointed sheriff. So I'm sticking around, and I'm going to try to get to the bottom of this birth certificate situation. I don't know why you're clapping for me. I want to know this. You're the Tea Party. Why do you ask all these congressmen, senators, why do you say, hey, can you have a little hearing and listen to the sheriff? Or at least why don't you meet with the sheriff and see what he's got?
Yeah.
I want you to tell me some congressman or senator that will do that and say we would love to meet with the sheriff, come to Washington. And so I can't get anybody. Maybe the Boy Scouts I might be able to get. Isn't that sad?
Very sad.
And no media will cover that. The big boys won't cover that story. Now, they'll have hearings on hookers in Colombia with the Secret Service. They'll have hearings on the government at these conferences in Vegas feeding steak instead of chicken. Hearings on that. Benghazi, they got hearings now. Why can't they get a hearing on what I had? That's what confuses me. And I've been I've been with the Department of Justice, the federal government and law enforcement 30 years, so I get confused sometimes as what's going on. I just want somebody to look at what we have. I can't turn it over to the Attorney General. FBI, what are you kidding? So I got a problem, and I'm just not going to let go. We're still working this still taking heat, but that's my character. I'm not going to, surrender and just see what happens. I don't need this issue, believe me, whether it's politics or anything else, but I'm a little disappointed in the lack of interest by our elected officials, because for many reasons they don't want to touch it, especially thinking they can't get reelected if they be called a birther. I'm not after the president as to where he's born. I could care less. I said it from day one. I am investigating a forged, fraudulent government document. That's all. I don't want to know nothing else. If that was you, you'd be in jail tomorrow. Tomorrow you'd be in jail. So I don't understand. And I'm careful what I say. A lot of national security involved. So I got to be careful. The next shot I take, I want to make sure that at least somebody will listen to it. But I don't know. So you guys got me hooked into this thing. Your Tea Party, when they came to see me, and I made that big decision, and here I am, still talking about it without telling you much, except that there's no doubt in my mind that that's a forgery. I remember one thing I can talk about. We came up with something that I put on the wall for the media. Because when you have to sign up for the selected service, it's 5 years in the jail. And by the way, I'm very proud, because I signed up 60,000 people in jail for the selected service. I started that years ago. In case there's a draft, I got a big army out there you can choose. I had that thing going 7 years. So when the president, when you have to go to the post office, they stamp it, showing what date you signed it and all that. So I'm a little confused, because they had to lose a stamp, because the other 18 that did it at the same post office, the date that they did it was 1980, 1980. President, they lost the 19 somewhere. So it's only 80 turned upside down. So I'm a little confused. How come it's not 1980? But nobody wants to talk. I think I wrote to the Postmaster General knowing that he wouldn't do anything anyway. So these are little things, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in a forged government document. They call that the long form birth certificate that the White House put out around the universe. But no takers. For all the veterans here, Marine, salute you. I do everything I can for the veterans. Everybody you hear, you're going to hear everybody, oh, we got to hire the veterans. We got to hire the veterans. Talk. I said, we got to hire the veterans, and we did. So that's my top priority. So recently, we hired over 104 veterans as officers. Top priority. Don't just talk about it. Another thing, unfortunately, we have veterans in jail, about 200, for various crimes. So I had an idea. Why not put them all in one area, one cell, or a couple of cells, but isolate them? And we did that. They painted all the walls red, white, and blue, and they all the different branches on the walls, and they're all in the same area. The same time, I reinvented another story, because 8 years ago we painted American flags in every cell. Made sure they're low enough. You don't want to look way up there. So my policy then, and at the time I did the veterans, was that they touch the flag or scrape it, try to deface the flag, they go on bread and water. So throughout the years, I've had them on bread and water. But for some reason, when I publicized the veterans, 30 people, inmates, not the veterans, other inmates messed around with the flag. So I had 30 on bread and water, which saves money, which isn't bad anyway. So I had 30. Now you sang Star Spangled Banner. Was it God Bless America you sang? No, the Star Spangled. But another thing started about 8 years ago, that everybody in that jail, we played the Star Spangled Banner in the morning and God Bless America at night. So we've been doing that. And it doesn't matter which country they're from. So, and you'll be surprised. Most of the inmates, well, they don't sing it, but at least they have to listen to it. So I kind of run a patriotic type of jail system. So that's, the immigration problem is still with us.